let's go back like 3 months.
Okay.
What did Coach Dickert do to convince you to move to Winston-Salem and get started here as a defensive coordinator?
You know, he just, we've been friends for a long time. You know, he gave me an opportunity to move back here, and I think that it's always fun. I mean, you've been a coordinator for a long time. You bounce around, you do the things that you do, and taking some time off is good. It's calling plays. You know, it's fun just to coach a position too. But I think when you have an opportunity to come back and call plays, I've never had a chance to call plays in the ACC, so it'll be a new and interesting opportunity. It was excited about building the staff and getting the guys in the room right, and we love our room.
Spending some time with some of the guys up the tree in terms of like Rob at the GM.
Yep.
I've learned the plans are intricate. How do you were you excited by some of the things that you learned about the culture building and team building that Dickert and his staff kind of has in play?
Yeah, I mean, he takes some things from different guys that he's been around, which I think is always an important. I mean, your journey is really who you are, right? I mean, that's what it is. So the guys you've been around, the guys that you learn from, you can always steal things from wherever, and it's fun to see how he's built the culture that he went there, and then how he's even, you know, everywhere you go, it's a little bit different. So it'll be different here. It'll be unique here, and he's doing a good job. Hopefully the guys see it, they feel it. You know, energy's been at practice, so it's been good.
First 3 months, what's been the biggest surprise that you've experienced in terms of working with Coach Dickert and the rest of the staff here at Wake Forest?
You know, it's just how good the staff is. Like, you know, having the guys on staff that have been in the system before, it's great. You know, working with Pete again. Really, a couple of guys that used to be GAs for me here and there, you know, around. And guys, just building that defensive staff. Our room is really something special. To add Coach Jackson in there and get him in there, just his perspective on everything. And you get a bunch of different guys that have run similar systems, all working together, and the ideas that come up are really fun.
And then I guess you've been in the Big 12 with Kansas State. You've been down in Texas for a few months, and obviously Michigan State. Was there anything about Wake Forest that surprised you once you got here?
You know, I think that just how the guys are. You know, I mean, they love ball, but like there's a different kind of guy that the last staff and the people before us have recruited. You know, when you come in, you have a lot less of the off the field things. You know, you have a lot, like, you know, when we went through the grade report for the first time for the real, I was like, dang, I mean, this is amazing. Like, they're really student athletes, you know what I mean? And that's good to see. You know, I mean, I know that we're here to compete and win every game that we get into, but also these guys really take class seriously, and they do a great job on and off the field.
One of the things Nick Anderson talked to us about yesterday was the fact that they're starting to understand a little bit more about the defense and are actually being able to play instinctually and be able to, you know, play and just play ball and hit. Do you feel like everybody's kind of catching on to what you're trying to get them to do?
Yeah, I think it takes a while, no matter what kind of system you put in wherever you go. You know, it's like in phases. Like the first set of fall or the spring before we got to the first scrimmage, really like, hey, what are we trying to do? And right now, if you put on tape, which is cool, you know, you can put on the tape and know what the call is because they're all doing what they're supposed to. Now, how to do it? Well, that's really what we got into, you know, again, and we've been trying to teach that all along, but it doesn't always stick. You know, your habits are your habits, so trying to create those habits and those traits and get guys to use their training when they're doing the job, that's really this next phase. And then when we get into summertime and when fall camp starts, we can redo it again and then do like, okay, now what's the offense telling you? What are the things that you can use for cheats so that you can just, because you notice those things, especially good football players with some awareness. They notice it anyway, but then you can help them along. And if they know what to do and how to do it, then they'll play real fast.
Now, Scottie, you also have linebackers as your main position group, right?
Sure, yeah.
Have a lot of returning experience in that room. Is that a double-edged sword in terms of there are probably some things you have to unteach them?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think with everybody and experience, like even in the NFL thing, you know, you get guys that come in and go, and you just have to learn how to use your language and then reteach. Okay, this is what we called this here before. Okay, let's call it like this now. This is so that you can start to communicate with them. And then, you know, because they have that experience, they have something that they can lean on, and you try to, it's almost like this, or it's this, but we're going to tweak this part of it. So that, you know, that stuff helps them and really helps them get where you're going faster because they have experience.
What are you seeing out of that group so far? I mean, obviously, I don't think Dylan's been playing a whole lot.
Yeah,
but
he got picked up.
Yeah, Aiden has a lot of talent, and Quincy Bryant. It feels like you've got some good guys in that
That's
room.
right. It's a good group. I mean, they work on everything. They work on each other. We're really not playing them. You know, kind of some of our philosophy when they come in is just like if you ask them, I don't know they would know who's starting and who's a backup and what spot they play.
Which is good.
We try to teach them the concepts of it all. So, hey, this is the concept of this coverage. This is the jobs in this coverage. Okay, now you learn that. Okay, now switch spots. Okay, now do the same thing. Okay, now put in a new coverage. Okay, this is the job here. This is the job here. Okay, now switch spots. So that if they learn it conceptually, they'll know where their pieces on the field. If they know where their pieces on the field, then you can rotate those things through. And they're doing a really good job with learning.
9 practices in, to me, it feels like the defense has pretty consistently been a step ahead of the offense through camp thus far. Is that surprising to you?
No, I think that's a general happenstance usually. You know, like here's the thing, like as the offense puts in more, they need to see the looks that we're doing, and they need to correct those looks, and then they need to get their things right. And sometimes it feels, and sometimes you can say, hey, the production on the field leans one way or the other as you go through, but really the truth is, it's where everybody, like, it's easier for us when we start because we can just run around and make tackles, and the guy could be in the wrong fit, no one notices, or they bust more than you know. And then they start to get it down, where then they start to lean that way, but really the point is they're just getting it down, and we're installing something new, and then we bust some things, and then they look pretty. And usually a pendulum goes back and forth until you really get late in it, and then you can start to see what the truth is, you know.
Coach Dickard remarked that he was told multiple times that the secondary was a big opportunity to get better, right? But the secondary's been playing pretty well in camp thus far. How has that progressed, and do you think it's some impact that you folks have made as a staff?
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I think that those guys, you know, there's some really good players back there too with Rue, and you got Vaughn, and you got Nando, of course. You know, I mean, he's a guy that's coming back. So those guys really do a great job running the room. And I think that it's always a good thing. When you say, hey, the secondary's playing, that usually means your D-line's playing well too, or something. You know, things like, they all work hand in hand. So it can't be just one piece because, you know, you can't get a rush, well, you can't cover very good. You know, and if you get a rush, then your coverage looks really good. So it's a combination of things, and those guys are working pretty well in concert right now.
From a macro perspective, you know, it's kind of funny because someone like me who's covered the program for like 11 or 12 years, I kind of look at the linebacker room and think, okay, these 2 or 3 guys are probably a head up because they've been here a while, they've had production. But on the defensive line, there's hardly anybody that's returning.
Correct.
But for you, nobody's a returner, right?
That's right. That's
I
right.
mean, everybody's.
It's great because you can come in and just and the good news for the guys who might have been different. Different coaches see guys who different. Like our first impression, we just go out there and let them play, and then as they play, we'll figure out like, okay, who they are and what role they can have, and it's good for both sides. It's like a reset. You know what I mean? It's like a reset. So the guys who might have been like, well, this guy's never going to be, well, no, we just see who they are, and let's see what they can do, and see what they can play, and see what, and you know, it makes it easy for them and for us just to be able to start off with a fresh look. Let's go and let's see what everybody can do, and it gives the guys that maybe were backups who didn't feel like whatever, you know, because guys have feelings, whatever it goes. It gives everybody a fresh start, and they can just put it on tape, and we'll play you. That's how it works. You know, it's easy.
Cream rise to the top.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
That's right.
You mentioned that if the secondary's playing well, the defensive line probably is too. Who's kind of standing out to you on the defensive line this
far?
far?
I mean, there's some guys. I mean, like Langston came in. He transferred in. He's doing a really good job doing everything we're asking him to do. You know, I mean, there's some returners. You know, you got BJ and Tyler Walton, and Gabe is the guy that transferred in. That, you know, they're really playing good at one end spot. You know, I mean, Teen's having a great spring where he's being very disruptive in there with Loha, defensive tackle, you know, and then we added Dallas, you know, and he's been playing really well. I mean, so those guys, the mix of them, and trying to mix and match and see who can go, and then you got a young dude like Cam who can really rush and get some things done. So we're just trying to piece and see who the best pieces are, and it's the same thing we do with linebacker. You know, teach them this is what it looks like. Okay, good. Now let's play this guy. Let's mix and match and see who's best where. You know, so they've been doing a good job.
How would you best describe your defensive philosophy to Wake Forest fans who haven't yet seen the Scottie Hazelton team in action?
Sure. I mean, we're really, our basis is 4-3. You know, I mean, we're a 4-3 team. We have to end up playing nickel a whole bunch because, you know, the 11 personnel stuff. We're just going to rally through. You know, I mean, the basics are you play cover 1, cover 2, cover 3. You know, mix in a little quarters and pressure a little bit. You know, I mean, third down. That's first. I mean, it's boring. First and second down is really boring. You know, it's really about getting somebody off schedule at a time that you can. Make a play here, do this there, do whatever you can. And then when you get them to third, well, then that's where really the fun comes. If you can get them off schedule and get to a place where you can show pressure and not, or pressure and do it, or show it one way and bring it up, all those kind of things. That's really the thing that the guys have fun with, and really the piece that they're starting to embrace right now. So we'll see how far we can take that.
One last thing, you've been great.
Yep.
I've enjoyed this time. Oh, wow, I forgot what I was going to ask. Must not have been your previous stops,
Yep.
Michigan State
Yep.
and Kansas State. What are some of the lessons you learned from both those stops, and what are some of the things you think you learned from those stops that will make you an even better defensive coordinator here at Wake Forest?
I think every place taken over it is unique, and even from the language you use, the same basic language that we've used forever, which is our style, which is our defense, which is, we stole from people well before us, but just figuring out the ideas every time you go somewhere. You say, okay, what problems did we have here? Okay, then you get another coordinator job and you make it better there. And then you say, okay, what problems did we have here as it came? Okay, then you try to take those problems and make it better there. And it's just the learning and the install and the teaching really is laying the foundation for it all. It's really a growing process, but this is laying the foundation, and everywhere you go, you get a chance to lay a new and brand new foundation, and you try to just make it a little bit better.
Ask you a trick question. I told you it was going to be a last one, but I got one
Okay.
more. How satisfied or happy are you through non-practices?
You know what? I think we're, I'm never too high, never too low, right? I think we're at a good space. I think the guys are starting to understand it. They're starting to understand how to do things. They're starting to understand how they fit into each piece. And when you hear guys like you tell me, Nando says, hey, I can feel like I can play pretty instinctually. Well, that's really what the idea is. It's a push as hard as you can to get them playing as fast as they can, as fast as you can. And when they start to say, hey, listen, I know what I'm doing and I know how to do it, now I can start, taking advantage of those little tools that you got and those little things and those little indicators. Well, that makes you feel good as a coach because you're speeding that process up, and that's really what you need to get to.